Cubola, welcome to my YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. If you like my content, you will like my content, so do so. And let's get into it. Today we're going to talk about the Afcon roundup so far, the first round of games. And we're going to talk about Endrick. Have Real Madrid and Xabi Alonso thrown Endrick under a bus. Now, Endrick is going on loan to Olympique Lyonnais. Now, you guys already know I've made videos in the past saying free Endrick. My free Endrick wasn't send Endrick on loan. My free Endrick was play Endrick. Give him some games. Give him game time. I mean, you seem to be giving Gonzalo a lot of game time. So why not Endrick? So my thing is this. Has Alonso got it in for Endrick? Because when I look at Endrick as a player, when I look at the last couple of games that he played, I remember, and I told you guys, I said, there was a moment where Gonzalo came on against Alaves, tried the outside of his right boot, Trivela passed to Mbappe, when all he needed to do was play it to Kylian Mbappe, and he was for a goal. He didn't do that. And that was Mbappe running one-on-one and potentially would have beaten Cristiano Ronaldo's record. Now, you fast forward during the week, the next game, and Real Madrid played in the Copa del Rey, and Endrick from the right wing did a Trivela pass, woof, straight to Kylian Mbappe. He was one-on-one, but the goalkeeper saved it. It showed the difference in quality between Endrick and Gonzalo. Now, don't get me wrong, the Club World Cup has its own tax, and Gonzalo, he did well. And because he did so well at the Club World Cup, I mean, that helped him. And because that helped him, it seemed like Alonso just took a liking to him. I don't even know if it's because Endrick's Brazilian, he's Spanish, I don't know. But the reality is, he never gave Endrick a chance after that. Endrick's been getting so much love from his Real Madrid teammates. It's because they know of his quality. Now, when I look at Endrick as a player, I think of somebody, an Sergio Aguero prototype. And by that, I mean short, stocky, powerful, can shoot with both feet, very good at headers, can jump up in the air, because Sergio Aguero scored a lot of headers, which, to my surprise in the Premier League, I didn't expect him to do so. When I look at Endrick, I see he has that prowess and he has that ability as well. He can carry the ball, and we know about his snapshots and his finishes, tight angles. I just think when I look at him, I think of a quality player. I think a player with potential, but not a player that comes to Real Madrid to go on loan to Lyon. Now, of course, in League 1, I think Endrick's going to shine. That's another thing. Endrick is going to shine. We're going to see it. Mark my words, we're going to be saying, oh, you know what? You were right. He should come back to Real Madrid. Endrick is a player that's so underrated because he's like an old school kind of forward. He's not really the neatest. He's not really, in terms of his physique, looks like a striker. So when you look at Endrick, you think, okay, he's not a striker because he's too short. Yes, he's stocky, he's strong, but you probably look at him and think, oh yeah, you probably play like a number 10. I don't think that's Endrick's game. I think Endrick is a finisher and he's lethal. Now, Xabi Alonso with Endrick, has he had a personal issue behind the scenes that we don't know about? That's another question. Like, for me personally, when I look at Endrick, I always feel like you give him opportunities when the game is dying down or you're trying to get a goal. That's the truth. He's not going to start ahead of Kylian Mbappe. He's not going to bench Rodrigo. He's not going to bench Vinicius Jr. And that's the problem that Endrick has when it comes to Real Madrid. But in times past, you never see young players come to big clubs and then all of a sudden request to start games. You're learning your trade. And when you come to Real Madrid, you have to prove yourself. Vinicius Jr. did it over time. Rodrigo did it over time. They arrived at Real Madrid really, really young. That's true. Jude Bellingham came in as a marquee signing, a big signing, but he proved it straight away. Of course, you had Tchouaméni over time again. Camavinga over time. So when you're looking at the team that Real Madrid have built, especially with the younger players, they've had to come in and kind of stamp the authority, show their quality, and play from there. So why would it be any different for Endrick? I just think Alonso just didn't favour him. I think Xabi Alonso is basically looking at Endrick and probably thought, he's not my kind of player. And I think a lot of managers do that. Like, I think when you look at certain managers, they like certain players, and some managers don't like certain players. So it just is that way. I don't think you can ever change that. It's a personality clash. It could just be, I don't like your style. I just don't like the way you do stuff. I don't like your positioning. There's so many things to it. And some managers, they just seem to roll that way. And it just seems to be the way in football. I don't think it's a personal thing to Endrick, but he's on loan. And I think that's a bit weird because remember, Ancelotti had Endrick last season, didn't loan him. Endrick scored the most goals in the Copa del Rey. I think he's a useful player for Real Madrid. If anyone should go on loan, it's Gonzalo. It's not Endrick. And I think he fits the bill. He's a superstar. He shouldn't be on loan. Not the kind of player that Real Madrid should loan. I think that's a bit of a disaster move. But let's wait and see what happens. Let's see what the outcome is with Endrick in regards to Endrick. In regards to Real Madrid, I think there's been a lot of things coming out. Of course, the last game, seeing players arguing, Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, Vinicius arguing with a fan, people saying this is what Mbappe said to this guy, all these behind the scenes things. I think it's just because you're playing for Real Madrid. You're always going to have those kind of issues playing for Real Madrid. I don't think that ever goes. That will always be there. People are always trying to find a reason for why something's not working out. This is not working because Kylian Mbappe is not doing this. And of course, I've seen the footage where I think Camavinga picked up the ball. He cut inside, brilliant touch. And he's telling Kylian Mbappe, make your run. Run in behind, run. Mbappe's like, no, to feet. He's like, run to feet. Then Vinicius Jr. makes the run. Obviously, he doesn't get the ball. Now, for me, stuff like that, people don't see. Vinicius Jr. does make a lot of unselfish runs as well, because people get onto him so quickly, but he does a lot of work for the team. Like, make no mistake about it. What's killing Vinicius Jr. is more his end product. And he's doing too much on the ball. He's trying to do too much. And it's been the same from last season and this season. You can't outperform Kylian Mbappe because he will outscore you. So even if you do play better than him, it will always look like he's doing more because he's scoring more. Learn to play with him. Karim Benzema said it already. But anyway, let's leave it at that. Now we are going to talk slightly about the Afcon. The first round of games in the Afcon have been absolutely brilliant. I think looking at this tournament, again, the bigger teams have won. Cameroon have won today. And most of the big teams, Ivory Coast, Cameroon won, Egypt have won, Algeria won as well today. You got DR Congo that won as well, Morocco that won. I think when you're looking all over the Afcon, Nigeria as well, of course, I think the best thing we can say is the fact that the stadiums have been magnificent. The pitches are magnificent, and it's very early in the tournament, so you're not going to get the same quality at this moment in time. So a lot of teams, especially the bigger teams, are focusing on getting the results. And that's how tournament football works. It's about going through to the next round and seeing what you can take from there, of course. Has there been a standout player? For me, I don't think there's been like a standout player yet. I think, again, like I said, a lot of the teams are focusing on getting the 3 points. And of course, the weather in some places have been a bit rainy as well. And I think it's kind of affected it, but I'm looking forward to seeing what the Afcon will bring. I think, again, looking at the whole of the Afcon and what I've seen, Morocco and Senegal. Senegal, that team, they just look like a star-studded team. Players who play in La Liga, Premier League, Serie A. Like, when I'm looking at their players, Bundesliga, I'm like, they're serious. They're a team that you don't want to meet. And they're probably one of the teams to beat. Even though they didn't win the last Afcon, they're one of the teams to beat, definitely for me. Because I think if Idrissa Gana Gueye can come out and say, we won 3-0, but we should have won more, that says it all. And they have that air of, we're one of the best. And I don't see why they shouldn't have that. I think they've got the quality. I think overall, Morocco are the host nation, so they're going to get a lot of the support. They have got the good players as well. Semi-finals of the World Cup 3 years ago. They've got everything they need. I must say, again, credit to the infrastructure at this tournament. I've seen it. Not even just talking about the stadiums. I think outside the stadiums, I think the streets, just the cities that I'm seeing, beautiful from Morocco. They look ready for the World Cup that's going to come to their nation as well. And I'm looking forward to what this Afcon will bring. I think the last one was the best ever that I've seen when it comes to atmosphere, when it comes to football, when it comes to drama. As of yet, there's no upsets, but let's wait and see what happens there. I think that will be very, very, very exciting. And I want to talk about Antoine Semenyo. Antoine Semenyo is looking to go to Manchester City. And I'm thinking to myself, I get it. People rate Pep Guardiola, but guys, no manager has had this much luck, this much financial support to buy top players. Like, if Manchester City do end up getting this one over the line, you've got Semenyo and Haaland, probably the most physically dangerously imposing forwards in this league. Semenyo, left foot, right foot. Ray and Shirky, left foot, right foot. I see the vision, Pep. I see the vision because I know what you want to do. What you want to do is you can play Semenyo on the left. He can use his left foot, right foot. Problems. I can go outside, I can come inside, and I can shoot with both feet equally as good. I can cross equally as good. Ray and Shirky, they're same. Right foot, left foot, and I can do both. And plus, you add his flair. He's another level. Then you've got Foden, who comes from the central positions, who can add goals. He's got everything. Then you've got Nico Gonzalez behind them, who has been terrific of late for Manchester City. You've got the experience of Bernardo Silva. Then you've got Tijani Reinders, who's that engine, the workhorse. You've, of course, got Erling Haaland up front. You've got the tricky Jeremy Doku and the tricky Semenyo. I mean, you've put midfielders as your fullbacks. Physically imposing midfielders. O'Reilly, and you've got Nunes. And now you're playing more direct football. Crosses into Erling Haaland like the goal against Crystal Palace. I see the vision. You've clocked it. And the interview that Pep Guardiola did as well. Guys, wake up. They asked him, are you going to be in a title race? Pep Guardiola said, we will be there. We will be there. As soon as you see those eyes, it's like his eyes can't stay still. We will be there. I said, Asna, Villa. Guys, be careful, man, because Pep is crazy about winning. He said, we will be there, meaning I know what I'm doing. I've been here before. I've got the badges on my sleeve to prove it. And I will be there at the end of May. Fighting and challenging for this. 1 point behind. Who are you to talk? Anyways, Kubola. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, and of course, turn on notifications. And I'll see you soon. Yes, sir.